Critical.
Imperative.
Open-minded.
Flexible.
Very supportive.
One of the most exciting things, without a doubt, about teaching is having one of your former students come by to see you and tell you how well they're doing, and to know that it is in part because of something that you taught them.
Very fulfilling. Exciting.
Positive.
I think that the faculty, staff, and administration and the other students here accept each other exactly the way that they are. We have students here are 18 and students that are 65. And I think that new ideas here are, no one turns their back on someone that comes up with something new and diverse.
Challenging.
Strategic.
Excellent.
Interesting.
Caring. Committed.
There are people in the community who had jobs, who wanted to continue their education and still maintain the jobs and positions that they had. They can remain in the community, and many of your courses have been geared to community needs. You have been a part of the community, and you've made the community a part of your operation. And so it is very appropriate to say that you are the community's college, and the community is a part of you, and we certainly are indebted to you.
In Virginia's earliest days, Thomas Jefferson envisioned an educational system that would reach every description of our citizens. One that would provide a quality education within a day's ride of every resident of the Commonwealth. Today, Virginia's community colleges play a unique role in the fulfillment of Mr. Jefferson's dream. Across the state, 23 colleges on 35 campuses serve Virginia's communities by providing quality transfer programs to public and private four-year colleges and universities, mid and high technology programs that train students for roles in the workforce of tomorrow, and innovative business partnerships that meet specific training needs of Virginia's business and industry. Since the creation of the Virginia Community College system in 1966, community college enrollment has increased dramatically as the system has grown to meet the needs of the many communities it serves. Like four-year institutions in the Commonwealth, Virginia's community colleges now face increasing challenges. There has been no state-supported capital improvements program for higher education since 1986. During the 1990-1992 biennium, Virginia's public institutions of higher education, including community colleges, absorbed $413 million in general fund budget cuts. An additional $300 million in planned construction projects were also put on hold as lottery proceeds designated for capital outlay were transferred to the general fund. More than 65,000 additional students are expected to seek admission to Virginia's institutions of higher education by the year 2000. Without a major capital outlay program, only about half of those students can be accommodated. More and more students are choosing community colleges to complete the first 2 years of their undergraduate education, a trend expected to continue into the next century. This year, to address some of these challenges, the governor and state legislators agreed to ask voters to authorize the issuance of general obligation bonds to finance much-needed improvements in higher education, mental health facilities, and state parks. These will appear as 3 separate questions on the November 3rd ballot. All 3 bonds are critical to Virginia's future. Many mental health facilities are more than 40 years old and functionally obsolete. The bonds for mental health will provide projects to meet the needs of Virginians with mental disabilities. 225 construction-related projects will provide necessary upgrades in existing parks, with the remaining parks and natural resources bond funds going toward expansion of the Commonwealth's park system through land purchases. For higher education, voters will be asked to invest $472 million in new laboratories, libraries, classrooms, and support systems, including $77 million in projects for Virginia's community colleges. These projects affect community colleges across the state, providing new classroom space to ease crowding in Tidewater in Northern Virginia.
We are now looking, for the first time in the history of the community college system, at unprecedented inability to address the full needs of the community in relation to the student body that wants to attend the school.
Up-to-date laboratory and technical classroom space in new buildings at Blue Ridge, Virginia Western, and Virginia Highlands Community Colleges.
So with any budget cuts, you tend to use Band-Aids rather than purchase the upgrades, rather than to replace equipment that is outdated. You tend to make do. That can occur for a short period of time. We are at the very end of the Band-Aid.
Modern learning resource centers for Lord Fairfax and Danville, where currently few students can be accommodated in the libraries at any one time.
Danville Community College is growing, and I think I heard the number of 3,800 students expected this fall. Our library facility is only set up for 500, so you can see right there there's a great disparity there.
Space for business, manufacturing, and technology training centers at Mountain Empire, Central Virginia, New River, and Patrick Henry, where community college staffs will work closely with business and industry to provide essential workforce training.
Well, as we move into the 21st century and realize that a lot of the technology that we are dealing with today will be obsolete next year, we need to continue to upgrade and enhance our ability to look forward and train people to work in the industries that are available or that will be available to us in the next century.
New campus locations for Germanna and Paul D. Camp Community Colleges, where population and enrollment trends indicate a pressing need for facilities in Fredericksburg and Suffolk.
Paul D. Camp's service area includes Isle of Wight County, which I represent. It's one of the faster growing parts of Virginia here in the southeastern area. And between the population growth and what we see as the need to retool and retrain our labor force, the facilities are essential, and we're just not really keeping pace with what the demand and the need is.
Building additions and renovations at Southwest Virginia, Wytheville, Rappahannock, Thomas Nelson, and J. Sargent Reynolds Community Colleges to bring older facilities up to today's standards. In addition, repairs to aging mechanical systems and projects to update access for the disabled at a number of community colleges are also included in the bond funds. In all, 18 community colleges have 27 individual projects in the higher education bond referendum, with the remaining 5 colleges included in mechanical or handicapped access projects. If Virginia voters approve the bonds, it will not be the first time this kind of funding has been used for important long-term investments. Under former Governor Mills Godwin's visionary leadership, voters in 1968 and again in 1977 approved the issuance of general obligation bonds for capital projects, including projects for community colleges. In fact, a number of community college campuses and buildings in place today were constructed as a result of those bonds, including facilities at Southside Virginia, New River, Northern Virginia, Thomas Nelson, Tidewater, and J. Sargent Reynolds Community Colleges. Issuing the general obligation bonds will not alter Virginia's excellent AAA credit rating. Only 5 states have the coveted AAA rating from all 3 major rating agencies. Even after these bonds are issued, our debt-to-revenue ratio will remain solid and conservative. The bonds can only be used for capital improvements, improvements that will provide the kind of quality infrastructure and public facilities that earn high marks from the business community. While the primary purpose of the bonds is to meet critical capital requirements, there will also be immediate economic benefits. Issuing bonds to finance capital projects will provide a much-needed and immediate boost to Virginia's economy, creating as many as 3,600 new construction jobs as bond projects get underway. As the effects of this new activity ripple through the economy, it will provide a significant short and medium-term economic boost for Virginia. This kind of investment in Virginia's future must be considered by all Virginians. Classrooms, labs, and libraries are filled to capacity today. The high school graduating class of 2002 is already in the 3rd grade, and it is of record size. There is little time remaining to construct and renovate the facilities that will be needed to serve the large influx of students expected later in this decade. Future students, our children and grandchildren, will become Virginia's workforce of the 21st century. Community colleges have been and will continue to be uniquely positioned to train that workforce. Virginia must be ready.
To teach these students and to accept these students, we need the facilities. And providing these facilities will come back to us 5, 10, or 15-fold in the long run. So I think we're investing in our future and our citizens.
Virginia's community colleges, an investment in your future.